behind us. Are we gone?
The Clinton campaign has asked about extending the deadline for voter registration. It is next Tuesday. Since you've declared an emergency, you do have, it is within your power to do that. Governor Bush made some changes to election situation in 2004 after the hurricanes hit then. I'm just wanting to get your thoughts on the idea of extending the voter registration deadline.
I'm not going to extend it. If you whether it's the registration date everybody has had a lot of time to register. So on top of that, we've got lots of opportunities to vote, early voting, absentee voting, and election day. So I don't intend to make any changes.
What are those people who are not in the path of the storm that want to help the people that are along the east coast of Florida?
Sure. The one is we could use more support in our shelters. So you can go to redcross.org to look at where we can use more help in our shelters. If you have any friends from Palm Beach going north that might need a place to stay, even if they can't come tonight, they might need it. They might need it tomorrow. So ask them, reach out to them, see if you can do it. We are going to, the Salvation Army and Red Cross, they're going to be providing a lot of services. They would love your contribution because they're going to provide a lot of volunteer efforts, and they're going to spend a lot of money. Partially staffing shelters, partially preparing food, things like that. I've had calls with both the Red Cross and Salvation Army, and I've seen them for the last 6 years, the things that they've been doing, and things much more minor than this. And so they could use your financial support.
Tomorrow, and when you plan to, go out and see the areas that have been by this hurricane?
We'll watch what happens tonight, and then we'll decide tomorrow. I mean, I clearly have to get the assessment. We have a great team here, but I'll be out across the state as soon as it makes sense to get out and do everything I can to help people get back to a normal life. If you think about it, we want to keep everybody safe. That's the number one priority, is keep everybody safe. That's number one. Then number two is keep people back to a normal life as quickly as we can. So that's going to be get back in your house, get back in your apartment, get your businesses open, get the power back on, make sure people can get fuel. We got to make sure for the people that are going to be displaced that they've got food and water, shelter, all those things. And so I'll be out and doing everything I can to help everybody.
During the briefing, the ESF briefing before we came in here, there was a brief mention that law enforcement in the state has been required to move some inmates. Any details on how many inmates we're talking about, where they were moved from, and where to?
Well, the Department of Corrections has, they have a process. They do theirs. I don't know if the counties. I think some of the counties probably made some changes also, but the state's not involved in this.
A question for Commissioner Swearingen. Do you know of any incidents regarding the emergency gun carry measure that was passed last year that allows people to have a permit to carry concealed weapons if they're under a mandatory evacuation order?
My understanding from our general counsel is that you are allowed to carry that weapon while you're evacuating. Once you reach a shelter, that no longer applies. You cannot carry that into a shelter with you, so it's not.
Your position is up to full 48 hours from the mandatory evacuation order.
That's what I'm understanding from my general counsel, but I would recommend that you talk to the local sheriff or whoever. When you reach the shelter, I would ask those folks there, but my understanding is that applies only while you're moving in transit, not once you reach a shelter.
Do you know whether there's been any incidents regarding that?
I'm not aware of.
You talked about how you feel that you're pretty prepared for the storm and everything like that. But this is a very...
You'll never be prepared enough. Okay. If we were really good, it would go east.
But the fact that it's so slow moving and going across the spread of territory, I mean, it sounds like it has been challenging for you all in terms of trying to figure out where to put the staging areas and logistics and things of that nature. And it sounds like also because of that you're kind of saying, look, we're going to be distributing food and supplies, but it's not going to be immediate because we still have to find the places to put this and things of that nature. I mean, should people be, in other words, should people be patient for the first 48 hours in terms of after the storm?
Well, what we said all along, you should assume you have to take care of yourself for 3 days. 3 days of food, 3 days of water, have a better radio, keep your cell phone charged up. So actually you should have your medicine. So the truth is you should do everything you can to be self-sufficient for 3 days. Now, I can tell you that if you look at what the county's doing, what the state's doing, what National Guard's doing, if you look at what everybody is doing, what the pre-position we're doing, the fact that FEMA has already agreed to provide food and water and tarps, I think that people are going to do their job, but the expectation always in these is you take care of yourself for 3 days. And, we're going to do everything we can to get there as quickly as we can. But we have Gary, we don't have any idea how much damage we're going to get. We don't know if it's going to hit landfall. You have to assume it's going to hit landfall somewhere. That's what you have to prepare for. That's why we did everything we can to get people to evacuate. All right, thanks, everybody.
All right, you've been listening to Governor Rick Scott in Tallahassee of the state EOC with an update on Hurricane Matthew. Let's talk about the 7 o'clock position. You can see it here. It's about 75 miles east of Palm Beach County. And as we look at the latitude, that is so important. Right now, 26.4 degrees north, basically due east of Lake Worth. And here's some other locations across northern Palm Beach County and into Jupiter with their latitude. And these are key numbers as we look at the storm moving farther north. The farther north it gets without moving west is great news for South Florida. So coming up next would be West Palm Beach, 26.7, 26.8 degrees north for Palm Beach Gardens, 26.9 in Jupiter. And when the latitude of the hurricane gets to 27.0 degrees north, that means the storm is farther north than Palm Beach County and looking better for parts of Palm Beach County. You've heard the Hurricane Center say the odds of hurricane force winds in Palm Beach County have now dropped to 25%. However, the odds still remain way too high for the Treasure Coast at 75%, and rain bands continue to move on shore on the Treasure Coast and the Palm Beaches. Look at the radar. There's the center of the storm over Freeport. Look at this huge rain band just offshore with more heavy rain coming onshore. Let's go inside the radar. Meteorologist Sandra Shaw, she's looking at the radar. And how about this? New information on the hurricane hunters now flying through the storms.
Yeah, what a treacherous job they have, and they are just on point. They've been flying missions every 12 hours. They started that a while ago, and today they've been all over it. And latest surface pressure reading has the pressure dropping, but we heard from the Deputy Director of the National Hurricane Center that they don't expect an increase with the wind speed, but typically when the pressure drops, you are going to see a more impactful eye. And with the pressure 938 now officially, but the reconnaissance finding 935 millibars at the surface. So it shows some strengthening. And we've seen this eye wall, the inner part of the eye wall sort of merge with the outer part. So it's been going through what we call an eye wall replacement cycle. That's happening right now. And bottom line, it's filling in, if you will. And Mike mentioned that big, huge outer band. This is just a case in point. Part of those outer bands are producing at least an inch an hour for rainfall rates. Nothing too off the charts that we haven't seen here yet, but you're soaked anywhere from the Gardens all the way back down to 46th Street, Riviera Beach, back into North Palm Beach with just some steady rains. We've got some wind gusts embedded within this rainfall that's moving in from the south and the west and basically moving pretty quickly. I had this radar loop earlier that was showing heavy rains, and now it's starting to clear. But again, you can see the counterclockwise spin with this major hurricane as it's exiting the Freeport area and starting to push in a little bit. And as it pushes in, it's filling in. Outer rain bands are going to be intermittently lashing us, and one of the biggest risks is the embedded gusty winds with that. Here's a little wind increase, an uptick here in West Palm Beach with some of the rain. 49-mile-an-hour winds right now. This is with the gust, not sustained. 32-mile-an-hour gust up in Port St. Lucie and 33-mile-an-hour gust in Vero Beach. And get this, 20-foot waves just about 30 miles offshore, parallel to Boynton Beach, near the center of Matthew. Storm surge in Palm Beach County, still a real possibility as we head into the overnight still. Probably more along the lines of 4 feet here.